Welcome to another quick video today. If you missed it, I posted earlier today another short video like this where I was actually talking about the first public demo, the first free demo about Manor Lord. So if you're a strategy city building fan, you should definitely watch this video to make sure you can download this free demo. But today, in this video now, we're talking about Anno 1800. The early access for DLC 11, Empire of the Sky, has actually started. As always, this is on Twitch, with the Twitch drop event. As you can see, it started on the 16th and it will actually run until the 29th. So after the release of the DLC, right? Because remember the release of the DLC is next week on the 20th. And depending on your language and the type of game that you prefer, you have many choices, right? For example, if you're looking for an English min-maxer, I would definitely suggest Fox over here. On the other hand, if you're more into beauty building, then maybe Taka. On my side, I don't really stream on Twitch so far, so I don't have early access. But definitely next week expect streams and videos on the channel, on the YouTube channel. As always, I'll definitely try to show you how to get the gold medal on the scenario as soon as possible, for example. Earlier this month, I already posted a video covering everything we can expect in DLC 11, the new airship, the new resources, lifestyle needs, the new scenario. So check in the video description below if you want to watch this one. But today we do have some more news. In particular, we have the detailed patch note for DLC 11 as well as for the free patch. So even if you didn't buy the season or this DLC, you will still get many of the things we're gonna talk about just now. The first big thing is we're getting 10 new items. This is always a question when there's a new DLC, are we getting new items or not? And actually, some of them are tied to DLC 11s, but many are not. So once again, even if you didn't buy DLC 11s, you may still enjoy many of those items. We see here which DLC they are linked to, but on top of these names, let me show you exactly what they do. Sorry, I know the quality is not perfect, but you can definitely see this is the same names. A few others over here, so they are in line with the new types of items that have been released in this season 4, meaning they are not completely OP. It's not like you have an item, it's perfect. It's more like there's pros and cons. For example, if you want more productivity, then you'll probably have more workforce. Or for example, over here, there's a lot of them that are less productivity and more workforce, but in exchange, you get some extra goods. With these new items, they've also introduced a new mechanic, which is, as you can see, there's new inputs. With this item over here, again, you were losing some productivity, we're having more workforce, and we need to give something new. So this is for the gold mines, right? Usually the gold mines, they work by themselves. You don't need anything. Now you need to give them some lubricant. But if you do that, on top of getting the gold, of course with the productivity a bit lower, we're gonna get a lot of Arctic gas. Or here we're gonna get helium, those type of things. So this is definitely a very new, interesting mechanics. Don't hesitate to share in the comments which of those items you're excited to use. Then over here, we have the confirmation of something that I also already previously mentioned, which is new ships and new towers, new cannons to defend. For example, here we have 2 monitors that are flamethrowers and they will be very good against wooden ships. This is the same for this flame tower over here, which is this one on that side that you will unlock at the artisan level and again will do a lot of damage against wooden ships. On the other hand, at engineer level, now we have this one over here, which will deal bonus damage against armored ships. The cool thing here is you need to sort of mix and match. You can't just have one type, you need to have many types, both in your fleets and in your defense if you want to survive in the naval combat. Then a really big one is definitely this one over here, where the maximum impact radius of the Hacienda is moving from 40 to 75, so almost double. And that will definitely change a lot of things, because remember that in the new world, there's a lot of rivers. So increasing the radius will definitely enable you to now use the Hacienda buildings a lot more than before. A few other things to mention: they corrected a few of the Dockland exchange values. They resized the actual size in the game of the Arctic airship that we already had from the Passage DLC. So it's just visual, right? There's no change in the actual thing. And then a very interesting one is debuff from weapons. You may have seen that in the past where, if your ships, for example, are damaged by a cannon in an island, for example, they get slower, right? Their movement speed decreases. Well, here, this is a bit the same, where if you are damaged by torpedoes, anti-armor tower, and the new flamethrower, both tower or monitor, there's also a new debuff chain, which is at first you start with this one, which will reduce your speed by a lot. As you can see, you won't be attacking, and this will, be for a bit of time, maybe 1 minute or something like this. Then you move to the second debuff, which is a bit less strong, right? You move from 100% speed decrease to only 50% speed decrease. This seems to be longer, right? We can see more than 4 minutes, so maybe this will last for 5 minutes. And then lastly, you get to this one. So the torpedoes will definitely have a lot more impact with that. Then a couple of general improvements, and what's really crazy is that some of these have been requested for many years. So it's very interesting to see them happening now. I'll skip the quick match update because who is still doing multiplayer games with quick match? I mean, I think if you really want to do a quick match, if you want to do multiplayer co-op or not of Anno, just go on to the Discord. This is where you'll find, otherwise you can just wait for days. But the really interesting one is this one over here, where now when you're trying to buy items at traders, for example, Eli, like we can see over here, there is this small icon over here that they've added, which means that you already have this one. If that were my game, it would mean I don't have these ones, but I have all of these. That can definitely be quite useful if you're really just trying to get one of something. The reality is, at least for me, for many of the min-maxers, you're trying to buy 200 versions of the same and never all the other ones, so this is not so useful. And then another one that's pretty interesting is this one. Before, when you're in alliance with one of the AI and somebody was declaring war, either that AI or somebody else to that AI, you were sort of brought along into this war. You could actually not be brought along just by clicking on the X button, but now you'll really have a choice. You'll be able to decline to join. This will of course end the alliance, but at least you're not at war right away. And then on top of that, we actually have quite a long list of bug fixes in terms of gameplay, UI, quest, achievements, art, audio, localization. This is actually quite a long list, longer than usual. But to be honest, I didn't see anything major. I think obviously if you've been experiencing any of those bugs, then you're probably very relieved, you loved it. But honestly, I don't think any of these were sort of game breaking. Still, of course, great that they've done it. And I really hope that the new scenario, the new DLC is not going to bring tons of new ones that now we have to get fixed too. I really wanted to make sure that all of you knew that the early access had started, that you could go to Twitch and start watching it, even if I don't have access myself, and also wanted to make sure you had all of the latest news on this release note. But I'm not going to make this video longer. As I said, if you want to learn more about DLC 11, I have a video in the video description below covering it all. And also in the meantime, don't hesitate to check on the channel. We're getting close to the end of my current Let's Play. It's a completely custom map I created myself, which only has small islands. So it's a super cool economic and also military challenge. So don't hesitate to click on the video now on the screen if you haven't watched it yet. And I hope to see you next week for more coverage of the new DLC on the channel.